So what do you do when the very thing that gets you what you've been dreaming for your whole life is the very thing that's kept you from the thing you want most right now?
I'm JT. I'm in my mid-30s, have a 10-year media career, and nearly a decade of sobriety. So how did another middle-class kid turn into a blackout drunk and a heroin junkie? More importantly, how did it change, and where do we go from here? This is my story.
So this is tailing off a bit from the last video when I talked about my addiction and sobriety as it pertains to the workplace. And this is just somewhere, to be honest with you, this is almost like a vlog. Like, this is my literal headspace for the past while. And I hate to keep doing the, oh, I'm so lonely, poor me thing. I'm lonely, I went through a breakup, COVID sucks. I am very fortunate. But this is where I'm at. And so I've been contemplating this a lot lately. And I'm only able to contemplate this because I've been very fortunate recently. COVID sucked. I had a lot of stuff like this with career last year. Ultimately, ended up being really another good year for me. But most recently, I've had a lot of success early in 2021. I've had a lot of success at work, which has meant financial success, security, and these are things I didn't necessarily think I would achieve at this point in my career or my life or have, but there's certainly things that I've been striving towards. I never had like a number in my mind, a number of ratings that would be sufficient, or a number of income that would be sufficient, or that would make me happy, or anything like that. But I've just come to the realization that I'm at sort of a place of reaching levels of success that had been before unknown to me, how I would handle once I got there. And here's the reason I'm saying all this. I've been working my ass off for over a decade, almost 11 years now. And it's not by accident. I do have some talent. I've had a lot of good fortune. But I've also worked really, really hard. And every relationship I've had since I've been sober and since I've been in my career, at some point or another, my significant other has said, think you could work maybe just a little bit less? Points when my mom was sick, my sister would say to me, you think you could work just like a little bit less? This is a two-pronged answer. First part, yes, I could work a little bit less. Is this a compulsion for me to work all the time? Maybe. Am I a workaholic? Is this an addiction? Perhaps. Probably. But will the person asking that question ever possibly understand what I get out of my work? No. The answer is no. And you watching may get it because you may be in a similar situation. Very few people are in the grand scheme of things. If you are, I am. I think I'm very lucky. I love what I do. I'm so passionate about what I do. And the feeling, the security, the feeling of worthwhile and contentment that I receive from doing my job it's almost that I'm unable to explain it to anyone, how much I get out of it. And for someone who didn't have anything that brought him those feelings for an entire 25 years of life before that, even before I ever had drugs or alcohol, why would I not keep chasing that? And as far as things go, it's a healthy addiction, I think. If it ever goes away, and at some point it will go away, and it probably will not be my choosing, I will need to be prepared for that, because that would not be good if I was getting all of my worth out of this, which I don't think I am, but I get a lot of it out of it. My answer would often be, because the first answer is just, I'm just going to sound like a dick, My other answer, especially the significant other, would be, look, I'm doing this so that at some point, I'm going to be able to do less of it. And the things that we have together, we're going to be able to enjoy even more. But if we sacrifice now, at the point where I don't make any money and who knows how it's going to turn out, if I make the sacrifices now, there's going to be a point, and it may seem like forever away right now, but at some point it's going to be here. I really believe this. We are going to be able to enjoy this, the fruits of this labor together. And then, yes, I'll be able to take more time. Of course, none of those people that I was in relationships hung on long enough to find out. But then I'm here. I'm at this point where I'm doing morning radio, I'm market number 5. I've been doing it for over 5 years. I have rating success, number 1s, and all that great stuff. I have the house. I have a car I like. I have a lot of things. I'm not extravagant. I didn't even want to be a homeowner 2 years ago, very shortly before I became one. And now I own a house by myself. I'm trying to figure out how to maintain and furnish by myself. But now I've got this stuff. And I've got the things that I was working towards. They're not all tangible things. They're also things like security. That's really what I was always after. And I have no one to share it with. And so this is my headspace right now. I've been reconciling. I've been tossing and turning in my own head. I had a long talk with my dad about it the other day. It's this irony. It's almost this like higher power irony that I'm experiencing. This thing that I've been chasing. This thing that I've been putting all my time and effort into for a decade. I'm finally seeing, not finally, I've been seeing fruits through the whole time. They were fruits to me, and they weren't necessarily fruits to everyone else. But now I have, maybe a little more free time. And now I have some disposable income. And I want to share that with someone. It's not really that fun. I get a lot out of being a homeowner. I really do. But trust me, going out to eat by myself, that gets old after a while. And I, spend time with friends and everything. But they have families. They have lives. The point is, I want to share this with someone. I want to share my successes with someone. I want to share the fruits of my labor with someone. And I think to myself, well, what if I hadn't put all that time and energy into work? And I have put a little more time and energy. It's not that I neglected people in my past, but I could have given more. No question about it. Okay, would those relationships have worked out? And maybe more importantly, not that they worked out, but would I feel better about my part in them? I think that's the most important thing. Because I'm always asking, how much more could I have given? And I know I made mistakes, and I will give more. God willing, there's a next time. But the other question is, would I be in this position now? With my job? I don't know. It's almost unanswerable. But it's that irony of everything that I was working towards to want to share with someone else for so long. The people I wanted to share it with didn't hang on long enough. And now I'm forced to enjoy it all by myself. And I promise you, I'm not trying to do the woe is me thing. I do not seek any sympathy for this. I really don't. I have a great life. I really do. I wouldn't trade my life for almost anything. And you know what? I wouldn't trade my job or the past 10 years or anything that I have now for an alternate version, because I have faith that it's going to turn out. And I have faith that this is happening the way it is. And you know why I believe that? Is because I believe, as I've told you before, that I still have so much work to do on myself. And not only was I spending more time on work and not on a significant other, I was spending more time on work than work on myself. That doesn't mean I wasn't doing work on myself, but I have always thought I could do more. And so I view it as, and this is where I keep coming back to, this is a God thing for me, and I use God in the broad sense. I'm not necessarily religious. We'll talk about that some other time. God carving out the lane for me to, number one, ask these questions of myself, have to reconcile with this, so that, God willing, if a relationship, the one, comes along, I will be able to put the right amount of effort and dedication and devotion into it. And number two, that right now, when I have this extra time, I can start working on myself. And you know what's funny is all of a sudden it's like I don't really have that much extra time. I didn't have a lot before, but any time that might have been carved out from not being in a relationship or things kind of working out at my job, I added this to the fold. This takes a lot of time. I have been filling my schedule with other things to better myself. I'm meditating more regularly. I'm journaling more regularly. I'm reading really, really regularly, which is something I really need to do. And I'm focusing myself on all these little things all over the place, and I want even more, because I believe that if I continue to work on myself, then I will attract the right type of person that's going to want to be with me, flaws and all. And maybe that right type of person never comes along, but I have to have faith that that's what's meant for me. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't have sleepless nights or I don't have moments where I'm feeling sorry for myself, going, what was this all worth? Because I do. But this is where I keep coming back to. I do believe it's for a reason. I believe that it's for the reason that I'm getting to talk to you here right now. I believe it's for the reason that I'm getting to keep taking small steps, doing the next right thing to better myself, so that when that next time, God willing, comes along, I'll be able to handle it the right way. And that's where I come out in it. Okay, let's get the mail. I hate to keep going back to the same thing over again, but still receiving comments on the Demi Lovato video, because Demi just keeps ending up in the news, and so I guess the video keeps getting viewed and commented on. But this is someone who popped up, Holistic Hen. Thank you for sharing this. I lost my oldest father to overdose, and marijuana was his gateway to harder things. So I've talked about before about how, for me, marijuana was a gateway drug. And it's kind of a cliche that's thrown around. Probably not that literal for everyone, because many, many people smoke marijuana. And I'm going to do a deeper dive on this, because I've gotten a lot of response on it. And I may even have an expert on that I'm reaching out to. But this gateway thing, it is real for some people. So if you're a regular marijuana smoker, or you used to, or you think it's a fine recreational drug, that's all good. It is for some people. But just like everything else, just like alcohol for me, it's legal. It's been living with us humans for thousands of years. But I can't have it, okay? And some people do have that interaction with marijuana as well. And I don't know, Holistic Hen, I don't know this is your child's father. I don't know his background. I don't know your story. I don't know his story. I don't know how he or a professional or his sponsor might, if he had one, might diagnose his issues. But I know that it is a real thing for some people. And that doesn't mean that we can just shut off experiences for people because they might be more likely to take it a step further. So we can't just say people can't try marijuana because they might be likely to try heroin. But we do need to be aware of these things, and we shouldn't brush it off just because our society is so comfortable with marijuana now. And it turns out there are some pretty alarming statistics about today's marijuana, as opposed to like what I grew up with and what my parents grew up with, because now that it's been legalized and it's being manufactured at a high level, crazy data about the THC and some wild data about adolescence and addiction and rehab. We will get into that further. But Holistic Hen, thank you so much for reaching out. God bless you. I'm thinking of you. I think of your oldest. I'm saddened that your kid's gonna grow up without a father. I don't wish that on anyone, and I hope that every child would be able to grow up with a father in their life. So thank you. That's the mail. If you have anything you'd like to comment on, you can reach out at any of the following feeds. You can DM me directly. If you don't want it to be used on the show, I don't use anything on DMs without asking permission. Anything that's on one of my public posts, that's fair game. But if you want to DM me and you say you just want to have a private conversation, I'm happy to do that too. So we'll see you next time. Hey family, if you like what we're doing here and you want to see more, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Share it with someone who you think might benefit from watching this, and feel free to comment below. Love.